Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Now in today's video we're going to be talking about a topic that you guys have asked me for the longest while, and that topic is self-esteem and identity. But before I start with that, I've got something to show you. I love a good bargain, and I know you definitely do too. Today I'm teaming up with Letty Shops to give you back up to 30% of expenses on your online purchases. Yes, they'll give you back real money for making a purchase. You're basically getting paid to shop. Letty Shops partners with more than 2,000 e-retailers in different categories of goods and services. Pretty Little Thing, Boohoo, even AliExpress, Walmart, Best Buy, Macy's, Groupon, etc. You can shop Letty Shops via the mobile app or your browser. So sign up is super easy. I just use my Google account. So register, choose a shop you want to shop at. Today I'm shopping at PLT because I saw a really cute t-shirt that I really want to buy. Also, for all Google Chrome users, you can install the Chrome extension. It will show you on the top right every time cashback is available on the website you shop. Simply download and install, open the store, press button, activate the cashback in the extension window and check out. Cashback will appear in your account after you finish your order. If you have any problems, you can quickly and easily contact Letty Shops support. So if this sounds right up your street, register now and get a premium account with 30% plus increased cashback rate for the first week of shopping. So make sure you click the link in the description box to learn more. Just a disclaimer, I am filming outside and I have to open the windows because it is like 100 degrees in this car. So if you hear passing cars, I'm really sorry. If you hear laughing children, I'm really sorry, but I'm gonna try my best to smash this video and I'm gonna try not to burn to death, okay? So let's talk about self-esteem. What is self-esteem? For me, I simplify self-esteem like this. Self-esteem is your self-estimate. I'll say that again. Self-esteem is your self-estimate. How do you rate yourself? And the problem with a lot of us is that we are waiting for other people to rate us, to validate us, because we don't actually rate and validate ourselves. External validation without an internal validation will make you hollow. Picture an Easter egg. From the outside, it looks solid, but it only takes one bite of that egg to realize that there is nothing inside. And that is the issue with a lot of people today. Even those people who seem to be confident. Let's take celebrities for instance. They have been so propped up by outside external that if they're not careful to build an internal sense of self, an internal sense of self-worth by way of internal affirmations, their whole empire can come tumbling down by one criticism. And the problem is that when your house is made of glass, you're going to have to try and protect that with all of your might. These people are usually the most defensive people. They cannot take criticism even if it's constructive. They can't take it because it threatens their very fragile sense of self. And there are many reasons why we could have a fragile sense of self. I mean, I think for me personally, I feel like a lot of it is tied back to my childhood and not being affirmed when I was a child. And a lack of affirmation leads to a lack of identity. When you affirm someone, when you affirm a child, you're basically implementing in them a sense of identity, a sense of security within themselves, which is why it's so important for parents to speak words of life into their children. Don't call them dumb, don't call them stupid. Even if they're misbehaving, be careful of the words that you speak when speaking to your children. And I guess I tell this story all the time. My dad was absent from the age of 3. My mum emotionally neglected me, no fault of her own. She just had her hands full. On top of my father not being physically present, on top of being emotionally neglected by my mother, I was also taunted and looked down upon by my older sisters. A lot of teasing went on based on my physical appearance. So I was very, very insecure. And sometimes your parents don't even have to speak negative words to you. The lack of saying anything also creates a void in that child that they're gonna try and fill some way, somehow. So after that, I felt really alone and very isolated in the world. I was too young to know who I was for myself. So I kind of went out into the world to seek after an identity. I got affirmation from the only thing I knew men wanted, and that was my body. I didn't know who I was, but one thing I did know, every guy that I met wanted a piece of my body. So I found my identity in that. I found my identity in my body. So in essence, I traded my body for what I really needed, which was affirmation, attention, and love. So my self-esteem would go up when I met a guy and go down when he left. And I will go into my story in a lot more detail in the course that I'm creating. So remember to click the link in the description box and sign up to my waiting list. And like I said, that's why parents, if you're listening, future future parents, it is very, very important that you affirm in your children who they are, especially at a young age, before the world gets a hold of them and tells them who they are. And the thing is, too many times we look to other people to tell us who we are, but how can they when they never made us? Does Samsung have the power to tell Apple what to name their products? Can Sony make dishwashers? Trying to find your worth and your value in people, places, things, career, success is a dead end. None of these things within themselves can give you self-esteem. In most cases, they have the power to do the actual opposite. They have the ability to chip away at any sense of esteem that they may have attempted to give you. You cannot place your identity in something that is temporary. You can't place your hope in something that is always moving, always changing, unstable, and shakeable. So why is self-esteem so important, and how can we build it from the ground up? So self-esteem is extremely important because it influences your self-image, and how you see yourself affects every area of your life. Believe me, it's a fact. It affects the choices that you make in life. When you don't feel like you're worth anything, you will make poor choices. It affects the people that you attract into your life. Do you struggle with making and keeping solid friendships? Take a look at how you're viewing yourself. Maybe your lens is skewed. It affects your romantic relationships. You attract into your life what you think you're worth or what you think you deserve. When you have low self-esteem, you will settle for someone that cheats on you repeatedly because you don't think you can do any better. Your self-estimate is that low. You think that's all you deserve. Some people don't even believe that they deserve a good man, and that's for another video. But your self-esteem, how you view yourself, sets the dial of your life. It sets the temperature of your life. And this topic of self-esteem and self-worth is a topic that I'm super passionate about from day dot, because I know how it influenced and changed my life. And that's why I want to help you guys. I want to help you in the course that I'm creating. I want to take you back into the past, bring you way into the future, and tear down some of the lies that you have believed about yourself that is stopping you from moving forward in your life. That's why I want to be your life coach, and I want to show you who you really are. So the description box, the link, click subscribe. But I will give you the first tip, or one of the clues in building your self-esteem from the ground up: your self-talk. You've got to become self-aware of the conversations that you are having with yourself. You've got to start asking yourself these questions. Why am I believing the things I'm believing? Where did these words and beliefs come from? Who told me that this was true? Who told me that this is who I was? Who told me this is what I deserve? Who told me this is who I am? You have to identify them as lies and begin the process of tearing them down one by one and replacing them with new truths. You will be surprised how many conversations we have with ourselves on a daily basis. Our voice is usually the strongest and the loudest voice in our life, and probably the most consistent. And if this voice is negative, you are going to have terrible self-esteem and an incredibly low sense of self-worth. And this is one of my favorite African proverbs: if there's no enemy within, the enemy without can do you no harm. What do enemies do? Enemies exploit our weaknesses and use them against us. Isn't that what we do to ourselves sometimes? When I look back on my journey, I am reminded of how negative I used to speak to myself. I internalized the negative words spoken over me as a child and started to repeat those words back to myself as if I was the one who said it. When I was by myself, I was my worst critic. I felt that if I said it first to myself, then nobody else would have the power to actually hurt me by saying it themselves. It was almost like a negative self-defense. Kind of like, I'll break my arm first so that you don't break it. Like, it's really twisted. It's like when somebody hates you and then now you internalize that hate because you've got to do something with it. They say sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me, and that is a lie. Words may not cause physical pain, but they always cause emotional pain, and I held on to those words and I started to say it back to myself. One of my favorite quotes was, I cannot do anything right, because when I was younger, younger, I was constantly picked on for my lack of competence. And it wasn't that I couldn't do things right. It was, one, I was dyslexic and dyspraxic, which actually affects my coordination. And once I started to realize these things, when you slow down, you won't make mistakes. That was a new truth. I had to cancel that lie that I can't do anything right. But back then, when I wasn't aware, I second guessed myself all the time. It's like in life, I took 2 steps forward and 6 steps back all the time. I was constantly moving forward, moving back, moving forward, moving back, second guessing myself, not sure about myself at all. But I just thank God that I am not in that place anymore. Whenever I think back there, I cringe, like, oh my God, so negative. And a lot of us, we don't like spending time with ourselves, because who wants to be around someone that speaks so negatively about yourself, right? We have 2 voices. We have this voice that comes out and this voice that stays in. And I want to first encourage you guys to become aware of the voices that are in your head. Don't try to run away with it or drown it out with music or drown it out with busyness. Don't drown it out with alcohol. Don't distract from it by entering a new relationship that you know you have no business being in. Just stop and listen. What is that voice trying to communicate to you? When you actually finally stop and listen to it, it should indicate to you an area of healing, an area that needs to be healed. Do not run away from it. Face it. When you become still and have the power to overlook the perceived threat, that fear that comes up, that jumps up and says, no, don't look at me, go away, no, cover. That fear, once you're able to have the courage to look past that, you will realize that it's trying to indicate to you the area that needs work. And that's why I'll continue to make these videos. I want to bring you guys to a place of healing, a place of self-awareness, a place of self-reflection. And that is why I'm creating this course, to go deeper. There's only so much I can talk about to a wide audience. I want to get deeper and I want to get more personal with you. So if you've already put your email address down for the mailing list, please keep a watch out on your emails. I will be in touch shortly. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Share it with anyone that you may feel that needs to hear this. I may follow this video up with a part 2. But until then, stay blessed, stay safe. Love you guys.